rather than the current 10% ethanol added per gallon that you may be used to. That means more corn, less fossil fuels.
Fox's Jill Nato. Sales of E15 gasoline currently barred part of the year, critics say, because of environmental issues. And a key indicator of inflation is out this morning.
The Consumer Price Index for March is expected to show the largest year-over-year increase in 4 decades, 8.4%.
Fox's Ginny Cosola. America's listening to Fox News.
The Mix 1041 News Desk brought to you by Logan Thompson Law, a tradition of legal and community service. That's Logan Thompson Law at LoganThompsonLaw.com. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Mix 1041 Talk, 1013 The Buzz. We're on MixTV.tv, and we're about to go to our fifth debate that we have done in this election season, and that is for the Bradley County Road Superintendent. This is actually our fourth debate. Bradley County Road Superintendent. We're going to be speaking with the candidates and getting their views in just a moment. But first, a quick check of the news. 2 people shot in the Volkswagen Chattanooga plant parking lot last night. It happened at around 11 o'clock last evening, according to WTVC Channel 9. The injuries were non-life-threatening, 2 non-life-threatening injuries. We'll have more on that as details become available. The Bradley County Commission met Monday, covered several items of business, including Bradley County Mayor D. Gary Davis announced a resolution for a $945,000 community development grant for child care facilities expansion. That will be voted on next week. And also, Commissioner Kevin Raper spoke with the District Attorney's Office over issues at the local cemeteries and their upkeep. The DA's office continues to ask people who have any trouble there at the cemetery as far as upkeep goes, those people who have descendants in the cemetery, to contact the DA's office. The full Bradley County Commission meeting is on MixTV.tv. You can go back and watch. Cleveland City Council met Monday, covered several items. A splash pad being worked on, according to City Manager Joe Fivas, at Mosby Park. Also, the Civitan Club has installed a large pavilion at Stewart Park. And the state's offered a $125,000 grant for Gem Sharp Park, that property donated by the late, great Gem Sharp's friend Ron Barker, Ron and Pam, there at Gem Sharp Park. Bradley County Audit Committee met Monday, covered several items of business, but the discussion had about Commissioner Erica Davis and her company in regards to the job that her company had been subcontracted to do by another company performing work for the county at Lake Forest Middle School. It was determined that as she had not taken any job before the voting, she should have simply made a disclosure once the job was offered. The commission and audit findings did not indicate any further issue surrounding the contract. That's the news at this moment. From the Logan Thompson Law News Desk, we now switch to our debate series, and we welcome in the candidates for Bradley County Road Superintendent. The incumbent is Sandra Knight, and the challenger and former road superintendent is Tom Collins. And good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to begin and remind everyone of the format here. We're going to begin with opening statements, 2 minutes, and then we will have closing statements at 2 minutes, and both the candidates will have 2 minutes to respond. And we do thank Ralph Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory for their sponsorship of our debate series. And we'll just go alphabetical order here for opening statements. And so, Tom Collins, we're going to go to you for 2 minutes, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having us on this morning. I'm Tom Collins. I'm a candidate for road superintendent once again. I'm a lifelong resident of Bradley County. I attended Bradley County schools, 1 through 12. Elementary at Prospect and at high school years at Bradley Central. And I'm a former road superintendent. I began my career in transportation with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, where I worked for 24 years. 12 of those years were in the engineering construction end of it, where you learn to build roads, and actually I've worked on projects from the beginning till the end. And so I learned a lot about building roads. But the most important part about my transportation career, probably in relation to being road superintendent, is the maintenance end of it. That's what road superintendent, your county highway department, that's what it is mostly. It's maintenance. You do I think in 16 years I was road superintendent, I don't think we even built a mile of road, probably less than a mile. But the biggest thing the major thing that the road department does is your road maintenance, and that's mowing and paving, repairing potholes, keeping the right-of-way mowed back, keeping the right-of-way clean, ditches open, tiles upgraded when they deteriorate. But anyway, that's what the road department does, and in the 16 years that I was there, I thought we did a great job of it. We paved over 800 miles of road. We replaced 31 deficient bridges, picked up thousands probably of tons of debris on the roadway, but anyway, that's what we do.
All right, turn my mic on. Thank you, sir. And now we'll go to Sandra Knight, our Bradley County Road Superintendent, for your 2-minute opening statement.
Good morning, Steve. During my 7.5 years, we made a lot of progress at the road department. We have a certified bridge inspector now, and one of the things on that, with him being certified, is that he can do the inspections, and then as a professional engineer, we sit down and look at them. And we've actually rehabbed over 20 bridges by this process instead of having to change them out. And we've replaced 13 of the deficient bridges. We also have 2 certified commercial herbicide sprayers for herbicide, pesticide, growth retarders. Parts room, we have inventory control as part of our fraud prevention policy. Also ASE certified mechanics. These are all things that we've done that have been new. And as my opponent says, of course, the mowers and the tree removal, things like that. One of the new things also is the high priority bridge replacement program. Before it was like a state aid bridge where they gave you part of the money. As far as this program, they actually take your bridge money and keep it in a fund and fund these bridges on a rotation basis through the legislature. One of the new requirements we've had to do is an ADA policy. This is directly connected to state and federal funding. But the laws, the rules, the regulations, a lot of things have changed, a lot of things are different. We've actually had 2 slides we've repaired and several sinkholes. So there's a lot of new technology out there that we've used. And with all of it, the continuing education is a big thing on keeping up with everything, what's going on. And in the last 8 years, there's been a lot of changes, prices, everything. So I think we've done a very good job. I've got an amazing team. The teamwork there is excellent, a lot of talent, and they use their talents well.
All right, we are here this morning, Mix 104.1, Talk 101.3, The Buzz, and MixTV.tv, and we have our candidates for Bradley County Road Superintendent. Look, let's just talk about one thing here just to begin, and I want to ask you about this. And public record, you both used to be married, okay?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. Now, we know there's been a lot of conversation about this, and that's fine. This is a high-class debate, as you will. But I do want to ask you, because it is, obviously, people are talking about it in this election. And so I'm going to begin with you. We'll just go back and forth here. So, Sandra, how does that play in, if at all, to this race, as people are talking about the fact that you two used to be married? Sandra?
From my point of view, it really doesn't figure in. What I'm looking at is the job for Bradley County and taking care of my team that is actually taking care of Bradley County and doing the work and keeping the public safe. I don't think we need to be distracted by other things. I think we just need to keep doing the job for the community. At the road department, we meet regularly on Mondays. We're very positive. Anything that comes up negative, we try to say it in a positive way. And they're very creative with that. But I don't think that it's really, as far as my race, what I'm concerned with, I don't see any problems.
Thank you. And just to talk on the record here is all we're doing. Tom, over to you.
Okay, Steve, as far as the marriage goes, you know, and I saw posts on Facebook and stuff where I'm only running for spite. Our marriage, as far as I'm concerned, that's water far under the bridge. I mean, I've moved on. I'm remarried happily, have a wonderful wife. I can't speak for Sandra, but I wouldn't change my life right now for anything. But that's not one of the reasons that I'm a running. But the biggest reason that I'm running again is because, number one, I'm not happy being retired. And I could go be a Walmart greeter, I could go do some other things, but I think road work is what I do best, and that's what I want to do. But another reason, and the biggest reason, is everywhere I go, and this is the same thing as that happened in 1998. People were asking me, where was the money going? I can't answer for every penny. I can some of it, and why isn't the money being spent out on the roads? Why are our roads and bridges deteriorating like they are? And so we had one of the best road departments in the state of Tennessee. I think we accomplished more than most any road department ever. But we worked hard at it. We didn't, we didn't make light of what we had to do. We knew we all had a job and we all did it. And we came in at 7 in the morning. We went home at 5:30. They got 30 minutes for lunch. I think now they come in at 7, go home at 5, and get paid for 10 hours. So it's important that you use every man hour that you can come up with to do the job. I remember when I took over, we had a stack of work orders, and the supervisor told me one day, he said, why don't we just start all over? This is when we first took over. He said, let's just start all over. And I said, no, those are important work orders. At about 8 years, I told him, don't worry about how many work orders come in. Worry about what you can do. And in 8 years, about 7 or 8 years, he come to me one day, he said, Tom, we don't have 2 work orders. We were caught up.
Okay. Let me move on, and this time we will ask Tom you the first question, and then Sandra. How do you evaluate success in the road department? What is a success to you? And we'll begin with Tom Collins.
Well, I think I evaluate it as accomplishments. What have you accomplished? And I'm proud. It's hard for me to brag because my mother was an old-fashioned lady, and she always told us kids, don't ever brag about yourself. Said brag about Jesus if you want, but not yourself. But anyway, and I think I'm gonna close your ears there for a minute, but I'm gonna brag a little bit about what we accomplished. And I say we replaced 31 bridges, both large and small, during the 16 years. That's an average of more than 2 a year. We averaged paving over 50 miles a year. We paved over 800 miles of roadway in 16 years. We used the inmate labor, pick up litter, and other activities as well. We've actually used them to work on the roof of the shop. We've used them for lay rock and brick, and but they don't use that anymore. They've lost the inmates. They've lost the litter grant. And in 2001, I started the use of the reflectors on the center of the road, the little orange dots. They call them bots dots. But anyway, we started that in 2001, and people love it. I know I do. It just helps to drive at night. It helps to see, it lights up the roadway. But anyway, that's been stopped. Why, I don't know. But we need to start that back. We need to start an aggressive paving program. We need to start back a deficient bridge replacement or repair. There's just so much that we need to get back to doing that we were once doing.
All right, Sandra Knight, same question for you. How do you evaluate success in the road department?
I think part of our success is overcoming some of the negativities that we started out with. Just like my opponent was talking about when he did these bridges, he left me with a zero fund balance in our state aid bridge line item. Actually had to borrow from our paving line item to pay for that. Same thing with the inmates. We actually lost the inmates because the sheriff at the time wrote a letter and said the inmates were not to be used for those other activities. That's when they went to the county commission, and the county commission actually voted to give the litter grant to the sheriff's department. It's not something the road department can just go out and apply for. But as far as success, I think we've had great success. I know I've had several people that have been with the road department through numerous administrations that said we've never gotten as many compliments from the public as we do right now. And I think that shows a lot of success. I get a lot of calls, people stopping. And I think just the input and the people that work there that are very dedicated and take pride in what they do, I think that's a lot of success. I think keeping up with the new technology, keeping up with all the new rules and regulations and doing it in a way that we're proud of, I think that's success. So that would be my answer.
All right. We are joined by our Bradley County Road Superintendent candidates this morning, and I want to continue with the questions right here. And look, if we're going to begin with Sandra, if reelected, let's talk about the next 4 years. What do you hope to accomplish?
For the next 4 years, we hope to continue what we're doing. One of the things we've been working on is our record retention policy. When I started, there was no record retention policy, so it was hard to go back and look at the lifespan of any of your materials or any of your projects or anything like that. So we've gone to all digital. Our records are all on the cloud, so they can be accessed from different places. As part of that, we're combining that into our GIS system, so that when you're on the road, it's not a matter of calling the office and trying to get what you need. You have everything at your fingertips. Everything's real time. We want to continue on that. Of course, we want to continue with our bridge inspection. Having somebody certified has really helped us out. We're saving a lot of dollars that way by going in and rehabbing instead of just replacing bridges along those lines. Some of the other things I think we're looking at, of course, is new equipment. We've got several things going that we're wanting to do. One of the big things that we have is like the leaves and the ditches in some of these subdivisions. And right now we're having to use great alls to go ditch them. If we had the leaf back, different things like that. One of the new trucks we got last year was a grapple truck. It's the first one that the Bradley County Road Department's had, and it stays working full time. So I think mainly looking at keeping up with technology, keeping up with the future, and keeping the citizens of the county happy.
All right, now we'll go to Tom Collins. And Tom, same question. If elected, what do you hope to accomplish over the next 4 years?
Well, first of all, we've got to get control of the spending. We've got to put every dollar that we can out on the road. Paving, like I say, replacing deficient bridges, cutting back right away. I just really have a problem with where the money has been spent. I operated the road department for 16 years with 3 office ladies. Now I think there's 6 in there working in that office. And I assume, I don't know why, that the new office was built. We had a perfectly good office on Withrow Road, which is about 3/4 of a mile from the shop. And it just really broke my heart when I read in the paper that they were going to build a new office over there on site at the shop. And it's just that I don't know what it cost. I'd heard anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 with, all new appliances and bulletproof window glass and stuff. But anyway, and I guess it was needed if you're going to use 6 office helpers. I guess it was probably needed. But I don't understand why we have to have 3 extra employees when there's actually less work going on, because there's less paving, less bridge repair and replacement. There's no litter pickup from the county road department. They're not putting down the reflectors on the road, so there's much less office work to be done. So I really have to wonder, why did we need 3 more in the office? So that's one of the reasons I want to go in and get control of the spending.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm going to break a little bit of format here and just let you respond to that, since you're the current office holder. And would you like to respond to that? I'll give you the option, Sandra.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
First of all, there's not 6 people that work in the office. Second of all, there is no bulletproof glass in the office. Third, the office was built down there so that we're more accessible to our employees. You're right there beside where they are. It's easier to keep up with things. Also, it actually saved money. The county commission gave us $150,000 for the house to put towards our new building, because the Tri-State Center was in a double-wide trailer and they were going to have to build them a new office. So they actually moved up into the house where we were. As another part of this, like I mentioned before, the ADA policy that came out, your building has to be handicap accessible, and the house was not handicap accessible. So there were several reasons we decided to build a building down there. As far as controlling spending, what we're looking at, no, we're not paving as many miles of road, because in 1998, asphalt was $19 a ton. Today, I'm paying $84 a ton. So, yeah, we're paving a fourth of what was paved back then. It's just, and a lot of the materials, your tiles, things like that. And one of the things that we are getting into, if you have a rotten fence and you put nice pretty paint on it, it looks good for a while, but it's still going to fall down and rot. Same thing with your roads. If you put a nice pretty thin layer of black on them, they look great for a while, but if you don't fix what's underneath, they're going to fall. That's where we're at. We're going back and we're fixing these roads that were paved, and we're changing out tiles that are rotted and patched and just pieced together. So that would be my response.
All right, let me just a couple of more questions here, and then we'll have our closing statements. And we're going to begin this time with Tom Collins. And again, if you're just joining us, let me go back here a second. It's the Mixed Mornings debate series. Really appreciate our candidates, all of them who have come in to share their views during this debate series. I thank Ralph Buckner Jr. and Shari, Ralph Buckner Funeral Home, for sponsoring these very important debates. Had a lot of feedback on these debates. People who are thanking the stations for doing this, and quite frankly, that's why we're here. We want people to have, we want an informed voter, and the voting begins tomorrow, and we take that very, very seriously, trust me. All right, so let's come back. We have our Bradley County Road Superintendent candidates in this morning. Really appreciate them coming. And I guess this question came in actually from the public, so we've asked people for questions. Well, if you had to name a few, this says 3 county roads who have the biggest issues, and you can do roads, or even we could say areas of the county that really need the most attention. Tom, we're going to begin with you here. You know, if you could talk about them and then your plan to fix those, say, roads, areas, that sort of thing. Tom Collins, over to you.
Well, Steve, no matter who the road superintendent is, you're not going to be able to do all the necessary things. Soon after that I became road superintendent, the county, there was a company wanted to come in and do a study on our road system and tell us what we needed. And the county commissioners asked me to come up and speak about that, and I did. And I advised them then, unless you're prepared to spend $40 to $50 million over like a 10-year period, save your money. I can tell you where you can spend 10 million, over a 10-year period. I can show you where you can spend $40 to $50 million. So probably the 3 roads that would probably stick out to me most would be Peach Orchard Hill. Has a lot of traffic coming out of Benton and Polk County. It's a cut through to the north end of Bradley County. It's curvy, it's hilly, narrow. That would be probably my number 1. Number 2 would probably be Mouse Creek. The development on Mouse Creek Road is just tremendous. The volume of traffic is tremendous. And again, it's another curvy, narrow road, and it's just overwhelmed with traffic. I don't know what my third one would be. It could be one of many. And that's the problem. And I have tried to widen some roads while I was road superintendent, and I always run into the same problem, acquiring right-of-way. Most of our roads don't have enough right-of-way to do any widening at all. And you try to go to the property owners, and I tried to widen Elkmont Road. That didn't work. Couldn't get the land. Tried to widen Valley View Road down off of Spring Place Road. Same way. Couldn't get the land. And I don't totally believe in eminent domain. I think if somebody owns something, they should have a right to keep that. But that would be probably the three that I would work on.
All right, Sandra Knight, same question. And Sandra, same question. 3 county roads, areas that you believe have the biggest issues.
One of the areas that's becoming a large issue is the Prospect area. They have just run sewer over there, and we have several large subdivisions going in this area. One that's going to be running between Free Roll Road and New Murraytown Road, so we're having added traffic through that area. Some of the other places that I think, and we've been looking at and working with landowners, is east-west connectors. Most of you know all of our roads go north and south, no east-west connectors. If Hooper Gap went on over to North Lee Highway, you could alleviate a lot of that traffic off Paul Huff and things like that. Also talking with TDOT about Lauderdale Memorial extending over to like Dry Valley Road. Getting those east-west connectors in, getting the traffic moved around. Like my opponent said, we really don't have the right-of-way for money to widen what we've got, but we're going to have to find innovative ways to move the traffic to different areas. And definitely agree with the Peach Orchard here on Mouse Creek. Those are very problem areas.
Yeah, and I'm just going to make this my final question, and you brought it up, and I'll go to you, Sandra, first, and that is, traffic. It seems like development, as other candidates have said during our debate series, is really concentrated in one area here, especially the new development, and that is Paul Huff Parkway. I mean, I simply don't know what your powers would be in the job of road superintendent. But what do you say to that as far as the road superintendent position, and what would you do there? Any thoughts and ideas about that glob of traffic that's concentrated there?
I think the only thing you can do as far as being a county road superintendent is to work with the state. Look for other funding to locate the traffic in different areas, put a bypass around the bypass, get the traffic further out. Just look at any of the options and be a participant in all the discussions that are going on.
Tom Collins, same question.
Well, I think one thing is that we're going to have to somehow or another, and I don't know the answer to how to do it, but we're going to have to make other parts of the county more appealing for industry, restaurants, pharmacies, that sort of thing. Everything is concentrated around Paul Huff and Keith. We got to somehow, and I don't know the answer, but we've got to get other areas of our county more appealing for development. And we have the new industrial park down on the south end near where I live, and we've finally got the first business in there. So I'm anxiously waiting for some restaurants to come in and gas stations and pharmacies and that sort of thing. But as long as the traffic count is what it is, like on Paul Huff, that's where people are going to want to put their pharmacies and restaurants. And there's just no way around it. So I really don't have a good answer to that. I'm sorry.
Trust me, that's a tough question for everyone. And as someone who's in it quite a bit, yeah, thank you. All right. Well, we're going to come to the closing statements. Again, I really appreciate both of you coming in this morning, and I know the public appreciates it. And as we say to all the candidates, volunteering yourself for public service. God bless you. All right, so we're going to begin our closing statements with our Bradley County Road Superintendent, Sandra Knight, and then Tom Collins. Sandra?
I just want to thank you for taking the time to have us here. And a lot of the candidates have been out, different events and things, so I think it'd be great if the public would go out and meet the people, actually talk to them. There's a lot of great candidates in a lot of areas. We've had a lot of success at the road department. I know my opponent talked about paving 800 miles of road. We've only got 750, so of course some of them have been paved twice, which shouldn't have happened. But it's going to be a matter of finding better pavements, better ideas, better ways of constructing the roads, better materials, looking at different options. I think it's very important to keep a dedicated team, a talented team, one that's wants to do a good job, they buy into their job, and they do well at it. I think too the continuing education, I know like with my professional engineering license, I've got to have continuing education, mainly to keep up with the new laws, the new regulations and things like this. I think it's important to work with our legislators, which we do on a daily basis, for the new laws and regulations that are coming down and how they're going to affect us. So I think it's very important to stay involved. And I just appreciate the community for letting me serve these last 8 years, 7.5 years. And I just ask for your support and your vote during early voting and on May 3rd. And I thank you.
Thank you, Sandra Knight. And now, Tom Collins, your closing statement.
Okay, Steve, as a road superintendent, you have to be able to use your imagination. Bring new things to the table with the road department, and I think I did that. I think I revived the bridge program. We had a bridge program, second to none. We went from years and years of paving our roads with cold mix asphalt, and I brought a paving program into play. We bought new paving equipment, new trucks, and in 2001 we paved over 100 miles of road, used 108,000 ton of asphalt. In 2001, I also started the little dots on the road, the little reflectors, which, I find that is totally necessary for nighttime driving. And we used, as I say, we used the inmate labor, and we had control of the spending. We paid our employees a decent wage for a decent day's work. And I think that, I know the office personnel is very, very well paid. In fact, overpaid, some of them. And we need to get control of that. We need to get back to having maybe 3 people in the office as office workers. We need to, if there's 3 positions there, then those positions needs to be out on the road where the rubber meets the road. And being a very conservative person, I've always thought I was a very good money manager. I'm not a rich man, but I've managed to get by with what I made, which wasn't always very good money. But I will treat the county's money just like it was my own. I won't waste it.
Well, thank you both very, very much. We appreciate your thoughts and your views. That has been our Bradley County Road Superintendent debate, and we are here on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv. I would encourage you, you can go back if you'd like to watch the full debate. Go to MixTV.tv, and our appreciation to Rob Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory for their sponsorship. We'll come back with another word here in just a moment.
This news brought to you by the Mark Shepard Agency of Shelter Insurance. Call 910-9393. 910-9393.
All right, it's time for our obituary program. The obituary program brought to you by Rob Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory. Joyce A. Lynn, age 74, of Cleveland, died Thursday at her residence. Arrangements by the Rob Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory for Joyce A. Lynn, age 74, resident of Cleveland, who died last Thursday, April the 7th, at her residence. Arrangements by the Rob Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory. Frances Elaine Kyle Roderick, age 77, of Cleveland, died Wednesday in a local hospital. Arrangements are by the Rob Buckner Funeral Home and Crematory for Frances Elaine Kyle Roderick, age 77, who passed away on Wednesday. That is our obituary program, and we'll come back with more in just a moment.
This half hour is sponsored by Eller & Owens Furniture. Eller & Owens Furniture is located on Paul Huff Parkway and online at ellerandowensfurniture.com.
Mountain View Nissan.
Hello, my name is Paul Rush, and I'm running to be your next criminal court judge in Tennessee's 10th Judicial District against Sandra Donaghy. In these unprecedented times, it's vital that we take a hard look at who's leading us at every level of government. I'm running because our community deserves a judge who can get the law right, who has the energy to enact meaningful change, and the courage to preserve our conservative Tennessee values in the courtroom. I am a native Tennessean. I was born here. I was educated here. I'm raising a family here. I serve here. I've practiced criminal law here locally for nearly 2 decades from both sides of the courtroom. I will ensure that my rulings are fair, just, and accurate the first time. Together, we can be the change this community needs. For such a time as this, I am asking for your vote in the May 3rd Republican primary. Thank you. I'm Paul Rush, and I approve this message.
Being around people is my joy and my passion. So when they come in here, I do feel free to carry the integrity that Mermaid has. No matter what your job description is here, somehow or another, you're impacting somebody's life.
I told my son to find me the nicest place to live in Cleveland. He said, Dad, there's only one place, and that's Garden Plaza. And I moved into the patio home. Everybody knows your name from day one, and there's something to do all day long if you want to participate in it. You cannot possibly be bored at Garden Plaza. It is just great, and their food is outstanding. It's out of this world. And I'm so happy I'm here. Garden Plaza is it for me.